Greetings, Earthlings. Today we are going to be talking about travel anxiety. It's totally normal to be afraid to leave your comfort zone. Some people, when they think of travel anxiety, they think of planes automatically. For some people like me, I think of a road trip. Or it could just be the fear of just leaving home and leaving your comfort zone. And I think the main thread between all of them is being afraid to have a panic attack. Panic attack somewhere where you've never had one before and you don't know how to handle it. You need to give yourself grace. You're a human being. It's totally normal to have these fears. If you think that you're the only one, you're not. First of all, I'm with you, and there's plenty of us out there. I've had panic attacks in beautiful places and gross motel rooms, and no matter what, the same thing is consistent. If you have a panic attack in the car, in the plane, in the hotel room, at the Eiffel Tower, it's gonna be shitty, but it's gonna end just like every other panic attack. I will talk plane specifics later on in the video. For now, I'm just gonna talk general travel anxiety. So the first thing for me is the anticipation of it, and normally I will get sick. Sorry, there's a lady and her dog and it's really cute. Okay. So the first part of travel anxiety for me is the anticipation of it. I find that like 2 weeks to like 3 days before I'm about to leave somewhere, I'll just get like hit with overwhelming anxiety. So it helps to prepare your mind around that 2-week point or a month before, whenever you start to feel anxious. And for me, the best way is before bed, because that's when, I'm sure a lot of us get anxious because your mind is clear and free to run and think about whatever. So what I like to do is, as I'm falling asleep, I will picture the place that I'm going. I'll imagine what it's going to be like when I'm there, the memories that I'm going to make, the food that I'm going to eat, the photos that I'm going to take, whatever, the things that I'm going to see, and I'll picture myself there and happy. And you should think about how proud you're going to be afterwards. You know, like, it's scary to go, but afterwards you're going to have those memories and photos or whatever and feel proud of yourself. So the first tip I have would be to start slow. I would start with trips like a day trip, take a trip that's 30 minutes away, and then maybe one that's like 2 hours away, and then one that's like 4 hours away. And then that way you can come home each night and decompress, and it won't be so much. And then you can start doing weekend trips, and then maybe a week-long trip. I would just start like that. So another tip I have for travel anxiety is to make a plan. A lot of anxiety could be about like the what ifs, and if you have a plan, then you're more likely to eliminate those what ifs. Also, if you're staying active on your trip, then your mind's active and you're less likely to have anxiety when you're there and think about home. The other side to planning is to stay flexible. I am the kind of person who likes to plan like 10 a.m. do this, noon we're doing this, 2 p.m. we're doing this. And even though I like to do that because it makes me feel comfortable, I know that something could always go wrong, but really it might be opening up an opportunity that I didn't see before. So just stay flexible, don't freak out if something goes wrong or not as planned. And if you do research on the place, then you have an opportunity to, Wendy, if you do Wendy, if you do research on the place that you're going, then less can go wrong. What I mean by research is not just like Wikipedia, but what I like to do, I like to look up TripAdvisor reviews of places wherever I'm going. Those reviews are so thorough, and they'll tell you what went wrong in their trip so you can avoid it. I like to type in the destination on Instagram and look up people's pictures of where they went so I can get a feel for what it's going to look like, maybe what I should wear, the pictures that I should take, or if I even want to go there at all. My leg's going numb. I'm just sitting in the desert. So as a true travel nerd, not only do I plan out my day by hour, but I also like to draw a map of the place that I'm going. Like if it's a city, like for my birthday I went to Chicago, I drew Chicago. And then I put a star next to every place that I wanted to go on the map. And then I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I put it in order of what made sense, so that we could save the most money or the most walking time, whatever. and I put it in order of what I would want to do that day, or in order of importance of what I'd want to see. And that just makes me feel better, because part of my anxiety is feeling like I'm not in control, so that helps me feel in control. Depending on where you're going, you might not have Wi-Fi, so you should take screenshots of important things that you need, like your check-in stuff, pictures of terminals or metro maps, or any maps. You should familiarize yourself with the travel around the city if you're going to a city or whatever. Make sure that they have Lyft or cabs. Make sure that they have a metro and how do you use the metro, things like that. I know that I get really anxious when I'm traveling, and when I'm anxious, I get flustered. And when I'm flustered, I tend to forget things. So having like a folder in my phone of just like, it'll say like the destination, I'll just use Chicago and it'll say Chicago, and I'll have like everything I need or want to remember pictures of what I wanted to see, so that when I'm in those flustered moments, I can remember why I'm there. It'll just help you stay grounded if you have those things on your phone already. If part of your anxiety is worried about getting lost, I wouldn't. If you get lost, there'll be a good story about it. It's fun. And there will always be someone to ask. You know, if you make a wrong turn, there will be a place to turn around. If you're in the airport and lost, someone with a uniform will help you, you know? Part of traveling is to get out of your routines, but there are some routines that you're going to want to keep that will keep your anxiety down. Like for me, I need my mornings. Like if I leave before my stomach is settled, before I've had my breakfast, it's going to make me uncomfortable, and it's going to make me have anxiety, and it's going to make my day worse. And I also need time to decompress at night. So I don't want to make the vacation all about me if it's a group vacation or whatever, but if I need time in the morning and night, I'm going to plan my day around it, because I'm an introvert and I need that time. You also have to think about what kind of comforts that you need in a hotel. Or camping. If you can't camp, then you have to let people know that. You should camp, but maybe you can't. And also a hotel, if you can't share with somebody, let that be known. If you can't share a bathroom, let that be known. Whatever you need to make your anxiety better. I am really scared of a coyote. The sun, oh good, it's a cloud. I'm scared. But if those things can't happen, whether it's monetarily or whatever, maybe it's a good thing. You know, stepping out of your comfort zone is what traveling is about. So don't freak out if you don't always get your way on things, you don't feel comfortable at first. Just try it, and maybe you'll be able to remedy it later. Maybe you'll find that it wasn't so bad. Something else that'll ease your travel anxieties is obviously a packing list. That will help you remember what to pack, but it's especially important the morning of to like check off those little things that you can't necessarily pack a week or a couple of days before, like your toothbrush and deodorant, unless you have extra ones, you know, your favorite pillow that you just slept with that last night. Like, so when you're about to leave in the morning, you're going to be anxious enough. So if you just have a little checklist on your phone to go through, just to make sure that you got those extra things in the morning before you leave, that's going to take so much stress off your mind. Things to pack would be like comfort items, you know, whether it's a blanket or a pillow that you need. For me, I need earplugs and my noise machine, which plays ocean sounds at night so I can sleep. If I can't sleep, I'm not having a good time, and I'll just get even worse anxiety. So I know that I need those things. Also, make sure to pack any medications that you need, whether it's for anxiety or any ailments that you have. For me, I have to pack my anti-nausea meds, because that's the worst part of my anxiety is nausea. You can also pack comfort foods. I mean, check the regulations on a plane. I know that I don't eat the healthiest on a road trip because I'm eating what I consider comfort foods, but whatever helps me keep an appetite, because that's one of the symptoms of my anxiety is a low appetite. So it's more important that I'm eating than eating healthy. Also, comfort music. If you want to make a playlist on your phone or iPod, if people still use those, I don't know. You should make a playlist of songs that make you happy, you know, like light-hearted indie music, not anything too angry, sad, nothing that brings up bad memories. I also like to listen to podcasts. I like to have comfort, food, music, and podcasts when I'm on a road trip or in a plane, you know, anything that can make me just happier and feel more at home. My favorite podcasts to listen to are normally funny ones. I like to listen to We Hate Movies. If you like movies, it's contradictory, but if you like movies, you're gonna like We Hate Movies. And I also like to listen to one called Beach Too Sandy, Ocean Too Wet. That one is hilarious. And for an informative one, you probably already know about it, but one of the best podcasts is Stuff You Should Know. And I know for me, If I'm going to a hotel, I like to bring a laptop and like a funny DVD or funny show to watch, because there's not always something good on TV or good cable reception at all. That was more of a list of ways to distract yourself from anxiety, but now I'm gonna list off some ways to kind of heal your anxiety and work with it. One of the easiest and most obvious ways to deal with travel anxiety or any anxiety at all is to breathe. And I know that sounds stupid because we're all breathing always, but we're not always fully breathing as deep as you can in and out. Okay, ready? That feels so good. I need to remember to do that every day. Why don't I do that every day? It feels great, trust me. It just totally grounds your whole body. Another simple way to deal with anxiety is mantras. Simple mantras that you can use for anything is something like, I am okay, I am safe, I am at home in my body, this will end. Those are good mantras to use for any kind of anxiety. Part of one of my mantras is Earth is my home, or my body is my home, because that helps me when I'm traveling. I just feel like wherever we roam, like countries and boundaries don't really exist. It's just a line on a map, you know what I mean? So that helps me remember that it doesn't really matter where I was born. The earth is my home and I'm free to wander it. The mantras help to ground you. You have to treat your anxiety like your inner child. The wind. You have to treat your anxiety like your inner child. It doesn't really know what it's thinking. You know, it's irrational. You're the rational mind, and you can say things to your anxiety to make it be like, you know, really, is that going to happen? Or really, is it that bad? One of the most helpful things I've found for anxiety is acupressure and meridian tapping. I went to a therapist to learn this. It only took me like 2 or 3 visits with her to really understand and learn it, and she helped me apply what was bothering me to tapping. You could also learn it on YouTube. There's a guy named Brad Yates, and he teaches meridian tapping, but what it is something to put anxiety in your hands. I like to be in control, and it helps me feel in control. If there's parts of my body that I can touch to light up my chakras or whatever, you know, like it helps me feel better. Even if it's a placebo effect, I still like practicing it. Around the same time that I started acupressure, I also started acupuncture, which can be expensive, but I do like a group acupuncture. It's called community acupuncture, and most places, I've gone to ones in Colorado, California, Maryland, and they're all on sliding scales, anywhere between $10 to $35. For first visits usually cost the most, but don't judge it on your first time using acupuncture, because my first time I was like, yeah, no big deal, but the second time I was like, okay, I get it. It really feels great, and it's something that I like to do once a month to keep up with my anxiety. I'm a medicine-free anxiety kind of person, except for my anti-nauseous. It might sound weird to do acupuncture in a room full of people on lazy boys, but for me, being surrounded by all those healing vibes, all those people who just want to get better, it just like their energy and my energy combine, and I feel like we're healing each other, so it works for me even better. The sun is going down here, so I'm gonna move a little bit and try to finish this video here, but a little bit closer to the parking lot. Let's finish this before the sun goes down. Okay, so when you're there, if you feel anxious, you need to remember why you went there. You went there to experience it. If you're anxious, you're not going to experience it. Try to focus and stay present, one thing at a time. Anxiety lives in the future, so if you stay in the present, you can't have that anxious thought of what if this happens, because you're just focusing on what's happening right now. Crowds can be tough, and I know that a lot of traveling involves crowds. If you're going to a beautiful place, it might be crowded, like national parks or Disney World or a city. There might be crowds there, and for somebody with social anxiety, that can be intimidating. Somebody who's an empath, that can be intimidating. I've found it helpful to just try to embrace the crowds. If you look around and see all these people who are there to appreciate what you're appreciating, that's a beautiful thing. We're all just here to appreciate the earth and camaraderie, and those are positive energies, you know, and tap into that. Part of my anxiety or OCD is feeling like I'm not worthy to travel, or why am I here and other people aren't. So I've found it helpful, like in a plane or on the highway, to fill my heart up with love and send it out to everyone around me, or pray for them that they get to their destination and they have a wonderful time or whatever. It just makes me feel better, humble. I don't know. I remember that there's a world outside of me, and somehow that makes my problems seem like less. Alright, the sun is going down here, so I'm gonna move again. I feel like you get what you give, so sending out love to others sends love back to you. Karma, that kind of thing. Another thing that I practice is mental imagery, and that helps me so much. Once again, it's another thing that helps you feel in control. So you can picture your anxiety as like this black, sharp, jagged mass inside of you. For me, it's inside my stomach. For you, can be in your chest or your head or whatever, wherever your anxiety lives. And I like to smooth out all those jagged edges, shine it up in my mind, you know, and try to imagine it turning into like this floating glass orb. And then once you have that, you can send it off into the universe, sending out good things everywhere. It helps me. Hopefully it'll help you. One of my last tips for anxiety is to smile like Buddha. And I heard this a long time ago, and I always thought it was the coolest thing, because Buddha lives in the present, and he's always smiling in a way that's just like ready for whatever life has to give him. Whether it's good or bad, he's ready to accept it, and he's just there. Like, I even changed my phone background to this picture of Buddha smiling when I got on a plane, so that every time I looked at it, it just reminded me to just smile and just send out. Even when you smile, you send positive vibes to your brain, letting it know like it's okay, she's smiling, obviously it has to be okay. So smile like Buddha and you'll get through it. Well, the sun is really going down, so I'm gonna have to talk about plane travel maybe another day, but I'll put it at the end of this video. But for now, bye. Good morning, bright early morning sun, ready to finish the video. So we're going to talk about plane travel now, and plane anxiety specifically. And once again, I would definitely say to start slow. Like, you can start with an hour or 2 hour long journey before you start making the cross-country trips or different country trips. And the only problem with a short plane ride is sometimes you get smaller planes, and on smaller planes you can be a little bit more uncomfortable, have less room, you could feel more anxiety from the more crowd, or you could feel more turbulence. But honestly, turbulence isn't anything to worry about. It's completely normal. It does not mean that the plane's going down. There's only so much I can tell you. You know, all you have to do really is just remember your training during those times. It's a time of anxiety. Everybody's anxious, you know. Most people, some people find it fun. Me, it makes me nauseous. Yeah, I would say start slow and then start doing the bigger trips. Like, I haven't left the country yet, and I'm gonna definitely need to do some acupuncture and acupressure to get through that. I'm nervous every time before I get on a plane, but I know that a lot of people are, so it makes me more comfortable. And ultimately, if I have a panic attack on a plane, it'll happen and it'll be over with, and people will probably understand more than if I had one anywhere else. One thing that helped me through one of the plane rides that I was super nervous for was ear seeds. I got these from an acupuncturist. He put like these like little, they're called ear seeds, but they're like little metal dots on my ear. Like, it's a certain like point that if you press it, like, I would be on the plane and nervous and I would press it, and like it's supposed to make you feel better or calm your body, whatever. It was just like a placebo effect for me, but it worked. And he did those for free, I guess, because I was so nervous for the plane ride. But You can look up where to get them. Similar things with a road trip is to bring like a comfort snack. I like to bring my Panera chips on a plane because I don't want their pretzels and Cheez-Its or nuts or whatever, you know? I want food that makes me comfortable, and also comfort music. If you can create like a plane playlist, stuff that maybe doesn't mention anything about we're going down, you know, something like there's a lot of songs that say that, you know, songs that make you comfortable and happy. It's also helpful to use podcasts on a plane. It can make the time go by really fast. I already told you what podcasts I like. A lot of planes, if you're going for a longer ride, will have like a TV screen on the seat in front of you, and they have like a specific headphone jack. Like the iPhone jack won't work in it, so like you have to bring like the dongle or whatever it's called in order to access that, but that makes time go by really fast too. They all have TV shows and movies and sports and stuff. You'll hear this anywhere about plane travel, but definitely dress comfortably and dress in layers when you first get on the plane, or at least me. I'm really hot, and when I'm hot I get more anxiety, so I like to be barely wearing anything, definitely nothing that touches my neck at all, and then leggings and I mean, sneakers or flip-flops. You probably shouldn't wear flip-flops just in case the plane deaths some kind of emergency, because like sneakers are smarter. But yeah, so dress in layers because it'll be hot when you first get on there, and then as the plane takes off, you can put on the air conditioning, and some people will have it like pumping next to you whether you want it or not, so it can get cold. The whole technology of planes, I mean, the idea of flying is weird, you know? Like, of course that would give anybody anxiety. Like, I don't even understand it, you know? Like, wind under the wings and velocity, and it's crazy. Like, to just stand back and appreciate what flying actually is and kind of like be in awe of it might give you less anxiety, or maybe do the research on how planes work if that's like your thing. That wouldn't really make me feel better, but maybe that would make you feel better to do research, watch a YouTube video, or read a book about how planes work, and it might make you feel more comfortable. I like to use mental imagery on planes too. It really works for me because the idea of having nothing underneath of the plane kind of makes me like a little anxious and like freaks me out, makes my stomach do a flip, you know? The idea of being in a plane is kind of what gives me anxiety. And so I like to picture the plane on a string, is what I say. I take the plane, put it in my mind, I put a string around it, I tie it in a knot, and then the string goes up into the clouds, and I don't know who's holding it. I don't even believe in God, but somebody's holding it and keeping us safe. It just helps me feel better that we're like stationed on something. I don't know. Just picture the plane on a string, just going across the sky. I don't know. It makes me feel better. You can use that or think of your own. So really, I think just like the more you do it, the better you're gonna get at it. For me, I was so nervous the past couple of times, and then I realized like I actually do like it. I mean, not so much sitting in the sky. Takeoff and landing for me is like a ride, and I don't even like rides. I don't like roller coasters, but it's so short. It's like 15-20 seconds, the feeling of it, that it's just like so easy for me to handle, and it's kind of fun. And I love looking out the windows and seeing the clouds, and I just think it's exciting. I mean, I like traveling, so being on a plane going to the next destination is exciting. So maybe just enjoy the ride and try to embrace it. Enjoy the ride, enjoy the view, and remember how blessed you are to be traveling. Count your blessings, you know, because you're going somewhere beautiful, and that's awesome. If you do end up panicking or having an anxiety attack, and it might happen, you know, I've been on a plane and just full of anxiety. I thought I was going to puke one time, but I didn't. I pulled through it. I remembered my training. I remembered it was going to end, and that I'm going somewhere awesome. Hopefully this video wasn't too scattered and that you got something out of it, and good luck on your next trip. Trust me, if I can do it, you can do it. Have fun. I'm scared of a coyote. Is there a coyote? Bird.